As I said, I am going to start off in Switzerland, and two of our original tours that we have been running for many, many years at Naturetrek. We are going to start off by going to Wengen. I'll just put a little pointer on, which is just here in the Alps, and then we're going to head over to Pontresina. Usually I'd probably carry on and talk to you about Valais as well and Bettmer Alp down here, but I spent 3 days recceing that trip when I was heavily pregnant. Dave's been leading it for several years now, so he's much the better man to talk to you about that tour these days. So that's why I'm going to hand over to him to carry on and take you down to Valais. We'll kick off in Wengen, which is our original Swiss Alps tour. We have been going there for more than 20 years. We have stayed in the same hotel for most of that time. And Wengen really is the epitome of chocolate box Switzerland. We get there via a flight to Zurich, and then we take the train from Zurich. And this is a tour where you're not going in a minibus at all during your week away. It's all on the very efficient Swiss public transport. It is 3 trains from Zurich up to Wengen, the last one being the Cogwheel Mountain Railway, which is an absolute delight. Some people feel a bit nervous about the idea of doing all those train connections. Some of them are quite tight, but they are efficiently planned so that you hop off on one platform, step over and hop onto the next train, or at least that's the plan. And usually it works out like that. We very rarely miss any connections, if ever, in Switzerland. But it's wise not to pack too heavily. You want to take what you can carry with you. But as ever, our tourists are there to help you and make sure we know exactly where you're going and when. So Wengen is a car-free town. So once you get there, you remain no minibuses, no cars. We're on the trains and the cable cars throughout the week. We provide you with a pass, a Jungfrau pass. So that gets you on all of these different modes of transport. That's really nice because we use it to go uphill. We ascend the mountain in the morning, and then we will pot around, look at all the new flora that there is to see, and then we'll take our time, generally walking back down to our hotel. So most of that walking is undulating, flat or downhill. The pass also gives you the freedom to hop on and hop off as you wish. And if you want to do something else one day, you want to take it a bit slower, you want to take the train back to the hotel rather than walking, then you have that pass and you can do that. So as I said, we stayed at the same hotel in Wengen for many years. It's the Berghaus Hotel, and the family there look after our groups really well. You can opt to have one of these rooms that faces south over the Jungfrau, and you have beautiful views. You can enjoy the Alpenglow in the evenings as the sun sets over the Jungfrau. And then the backdrop for our week are the impressive 3-week, lost my hot talk, the impressive peaks of the Eiger, the Munch and the Jungfrau. So the Eiger, this one over here, is the ogre. The monk is in the middle, and the monk is protecting the Jungfrau, the young girl, from the mighty ogre. This photo is actually taken in Mürren, which is across the valley from Wengen. We actually run another tour, Go Slow in the Swiss Alps, which is based in Mürren, another village, as you can see, beautiful views, and where again we're using public transport to get us all over the place throughout the week. But that tour is designed with more options to opt in and opt out, so shorter walks in the morning with maybe an optional slightly longer walk, but plenty of rests and places to potter, and just takes it a lot more easy than our other Swiss tours, where you do want to walk and be able to enjoy walking in the mountains. And here above Wengen on the Mannlichen Mountain, the view is dominated by that mighty north face of the Eiger. And these are the views that you get. And the turf here, you can see it's just absolutely filled with flowers at this time of year. So you can see the primulas, the gentians, the ranunculus in there. It is absolute heaven. We run our tours to Wengen in the second half of June, when the flora should typically be at its best. The weather's unpredictable. We've had snow, waterfall sunshine, rain, hail, everything in between. But the good thing about these trips is that you can botanize at all manner of different altitudes. So there's always something out, and at some level, there's always plenty to see. So even on years where we go up the mountain and it's all covered in snow still, you're not short of amazing things to see. So lots of gentians, like these trumpet gentians, and these spring gentians, Gentiana verna. There's just beds of them everywhere. And some more examples of things you might be looking for during our week in Wengen up at the top left, we've got Narcissus, flowered anemone, alpine toadflax there on the top right, beautiful alpine pasque flowers, sometimes just coming out, sometimes with the fluffy sea heads having just gone over. And then my favourite flower, the Troilus europaeus, or globe flowers, which I just always think look like little balls of sunlight up there in the mountains. We expect to see lots of primulas. These ones on the left is bird's eye primula, Primula farinosa, and on the right, the bear's ear, Primula auricula. As we ascend higher up, there are some real specialties where the glaciers are seeding. So this is one of them. This is a little Viola Synesia. And this is another highlight of our botanising during the week. This is alpine columbine, Collegia alpina. And one really special flower that we're all hoping to see is a lady slipper orchid. We've got a really good site where we can go. And again, people often ask which is the best week to go to see the flower, to see the lady slipper orchids, and it's really hard to say. Possibly the earlier week, but I don't know. It depends on the season. But there are years when we'll go and we'll see hundreds upon hundreds of them all the way up the mountainside, all flowering in absolute splendour. So the walking, as I mentioned, is variable, but generally undulating or downhill. This photo is of one of the trickier walks that we do. So have a look at this. If you feel like you do this, then you'll probably be fine for the week. The nature of botany is that we are never going at a fast pace, and we'll generally pot around making very little progress in the morning, seeing everything, identifying everything, enjoying all the new flora that there is to see that morning. We'll have some lunch and then we'll take it easy in the afternoon and do a bit more walking. So this is walking down the moraine from the Eiger Gletscher station. You see walking poles are useful. They're always useful to take the strain off your knees anyway. And as is typical in the mountains, here you can see that it's clouding over. This week that I was there, it was wall-to-wall sunshine, apart from this particular moment where suddenly the clouds came in. About half an hour later, we were being hailed on, and an hour after that, we were sat outside in the sunshine again, enjoying apricot dart. So you just have to be prepared, and so you have to be able to carry your bag and carry some sensible layers in it and be prepared for all eventualities. We'll always find a good picnic spot, so we'll generally carry the picnics with us during the day, as we do on many of our European tours around Europe. Take a lovely picnic, sit in the sunshine. You can always find a cafe if it's wet at some point, go and get a coffee. But there's always really an absolute delightful place to stop. And what I'm not mentioning at all in my little section of the talk this evening is the bird life, the mammals, the butterflies, of which there are plenty in Switzerland, but I'm leaving all that to Dave. So these tours that I'm talking about are primarily botanical tours, but we won't ignore everything else by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm going to let Dave fill you in on all those other bits shortly. So over in Pontresina, this is the Upper Engadine Valley, right over the other side of Switzerland in the east, quite close to the Italian border. This is in the canton of Graubünden, which is the only trilingual canton in Switzerland. So German, Italian and Romansh are all official languages. Can get quite confusing, you're not really sure what anyone's speaking. But here the geology and the high altitude make it quite different, quite interesting. So often we'll find that some people will come and do our Wengen tour, come back the next year to Pontresina. A lot of people do them both back to back, and you can stick with the same tour leader the whole way through. Again, we're absolutely spoilt for public transport. We get around this week on the UNESCO Heritage Bernina Express line. There are some amazing loops and tunnels. So for some people, transport itself is a highlight of this trip. And again, you get a pass for the week, so you're free to opt out if you want to, come home early, that sort of thing. As I said, there's quite different flora in the Upper Engadine. So this little star Edelweiss you wouldn't find in Wengen, but you will in over in the Upper Engadine. I took this photo in early July, and you can see it's only just starting to come out. So it is a later season there because it is higher. And we'll go really high up. We'll take the cable cars, we'll go over 3,000 meters. So we'll be looking for some really high altitude specialties. And the mountains that you can see in the background there are the Bernina group of peaks, providing a really splendid backdrop each day. So again, there's some really, it's just remarkable really what grows at this altitude. This is a little mignonette-leaved bittercress, Cardamine rosetifolia. We'll see lots of glacier crowfoot, poking out of all these rock crevices. Sometimes there'll be a huge splash of pink in the rocks, and this is this very beautiful alpine rock jasmine. Sometimes you'll see a splash of blue in the rocks. We go up on a cable car and you can see the blue on your way up, and this is another star of the trip, Erythrachium nanum, or King of the Alps. There's a different selection of primulas up here. This one is Primula latifolia, and then this one is Primula integrifolia. And there's also lots of hybrids between the two, which can get quite confusing. And depending on the season, we will invariably encounter snowmelt along the way. It's very common. So here we're walking around Val Minor. You can see in the turf all of this purple, and that's those primulas that we just saw, and loads of snowbells. And the snowbells, soldanellas, they will come through even when the snow is still there melting, and then through the damp turf, and they'll just stretch right up way up the mountainside, just turning the whole thing purple. Absolutely beautiful. And again, we will always find a fantastic spot to have our picnics. So on this particular day, we spent a lot of time in the morning botanising very high up. And this particular day is our longest day of walking. We might do 9 or 10 miles on this day. It's probably one of the tours with the most walking of our European trips. But it's amazing. We'll have lunch up here, and then we'll almost transect the mountain on the way home. We'll walk back to the hotel, and you'll be looking at flowers at every altitude the whole way down. It's incredible. Plenty of options, lots to see, and lots more besides the flora.